Welcome to Brewsers, a podcast about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. I'm your host, Roddy John, and today we talk to Samira. We talk all about her journey into pro wrestling, the Northeast wrestling scene, and her YouTube channel. She is doing so many fun things. She is not only a commentator, but she's a ring announcer. She's a backstage interview person. She is a vlogger. She's doing it all, and you definitely need to start checking her out because she is definitely going to be on the TV very soon for you. While you're checking her out on the TV, make sure to sign up for our newsletter. You get even more information about our guests. You get fun facts, and you get to find out what's happening with your favorite podcast, all about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. So without further ado, here is Samira. I would like to welcome to the show, Samira. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, John. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. So for those listening right now, kind of paint us a word picture. What's going on around you? What are you doing right now?
Oh man, a lot of stuff. I just got done, with my April bookings, which was, crazy, starting out with Mania in Philly, did
Mm-hmm.
3 shows and, then worked every weekend after that. So just finished up that, and May's about to be real crazy as well. Lots coming.
So, okay, I know you're from the Pennsylvania area. Where in Pennsylvania are you from?
So I don't usually like to give a specific
Okay, well, sorry. Are
location,
you on the east
but
side or are you on
I'm
the west side? I
the
guess.
East Side.
Okay, so
So
feel
I think that's pretty obvious. It's the East Side. I do a lot of New Jersey shows,
right.
so I
Yeah.
think a lot of people could tell I'm like from around that kind of area.
Well, because I was in Philly for Mania too, and so like the Pittsburgh and Philadelphia for people who are not in Pennsylvania are, they're like, oh yeah, they're right next to each other. No, they're
Oh
very,
no.
very different. Yes.
Yeah, that's like the other side. Yeah, I've never been to that side of PA. Hopefully one day.
Oh, there you go. Hopefully one day you will be booked over there.
That'd be fun. There's a couple promotions I know out there that would be fun when the timing's all right, make my way over there. I'm slowly making my way over to the Midwest as I've joined Black Label Pro as their ring announcer.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Get ready for their show on Sunday. It'll be a good one.
Well, normally I do this at the end of the show, but I am going to start doing it at the beginning of the show, just kind of almost like an icebreaker, if you will. So I have a segment, I call it the 5 count, just 5 random questions. Just answer them as quick as they come in your head.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Number one, how do you take your coffee?
Oh, okay. That this is hard because it depends on the mood.
True.
But it like for me in the morning, I like to have a hot coffee, but then during
Mm,
like the day, I need something cold, and it
mhm,
depends. Like sometimes in the morning, like I usually have Nescafe. It's these like little packets because I used to drink them all the time when I was in Lebanon.
mhm.
So I usually have that, but if I'm not, I like to take my hot coffee just plain black. If I'm having like a cold coffee, always most likely cold brew or like a iced coffee with like sugar-free syrup in it. But
Perfect.
I will drink any coffee. I love coffee.
Yeah, same. I will drink any coffee. If you owned a liquor company, brewery, winery, or coffee shop, which one would you own and what would the name be?
Ooh, man. I'm gonna go with winery because I really love wine, but if
Nice.
anybody knows me, they know I love tequila. That's my
Oh,
choice of
same.
poison.
Yeah.
But I think a winery would be cute, and I think I'd call it. Oh, this is gonna be a hard one. Damn, I've never had a question like this, so now I gotta really think about it. I know this is supposed to be quick. I'm being on the
I always
spot.
tell people quick. I
Um,
don't know why, but it's I should just say 5 random questions and so that's it. But I feel like I need to be like as quick as possible. But
yeah. Um, maybe like Rose Winery because there is meaning behind Rose for me. It is fun fact, it is my middle name, and
oh,
like it was like kind of like the meaning of my mom her first name, but then like she changed it. It's a whole thing, like a whole backstory of my life.
we're gonna get into that after this 5 count. Remind me that's gonna be the first thing I ask about. Uh Number three, what would your last meal be?
All right. Does it have to be one item or is it multiple?
So I created this question before I knew there was a YouTube show about it, and since I've seen the show and people have like genuinely 3 to 8 course meals for their last meal, you could do whatever you want.
Ooh, all right. Definitely something with the chocolate and peanut butter. It's my
Ooh,
favorite thing in the
nice.
world. I think
Yeah.
it would have to be specifically this chocolate peanut butter cheesecake from one of my favorite diners. Like I'm obsessed. Um, oh gosh, for actual food, this is like tough. Jeez. Um, okay, I gotta go with like a good burger because
Yeah.
I love burgers. Maybe some ribs. I don't know. Depends how I'm feeling. I'm trying to think of what else I like because I'm just definitely some Arabic food. I need to get some chicken shawarma in there. Like I gotta have my
Ooh.
last of that and like some bitlewe, aka baklava, because oh man.
Mm.
And all right, I'm gonna pick one more thing, and I think a coffee. I think I have to throw a coffee in there because I'm obsessed with coffee. All right, I gotta throw that in.
Perfect. Uh, who or what inspires you?
In terms of wrestling, or
Wrestling, life, the universe, whatever inspires you in any form.
I would say my parents and my grandmother definitely really inspired me. They worked so hard when they like came here, and like my parents were such hard workers, so was my grandmother, and they just inspire me to work so hard at anything that I do, whether it is wrestling or my work life or whatever it is in my life, like work hard for family, for work, for just like anything.
That's awesome. I love that. And what would you tell your 17-year-old self?
Oh man, I tell that girl a lot. But oh man, dude, I just oh man, just thinking about her. But I would tell her, don't rush anything in life. Everything, just have patience with everything. Everything comes at the right time, and just you don't need to know everything right away, like because you don't know anything at that age, and you think you do.
Of
You like,
course.
and just you'll know what makes you happy. It just takes time. Just focus on your happiness.
I love that. I mean, I think you could really tell yourself that at any age, really.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Rose thing. So tell me about, I mean, obviously it's your middle name and then your mom and she changed her name. Go through a little bit of that story for us.
So, yeah, I think I'm like, as I was answering some questions, it's like I'm like kind of touching on things. So, my grandfather, when he was alive, came here from Lebanon, like in, oh, man, I want to say it was like the early 70s with his two brothers, for a better life. And, then my grandmother and my mom and her brothers followed suit after a while. And like that's where I technically come from. They came here for a better life. And then my dad eventually came here, I believe, in sometime in the late 80s, I want to say it was.
Mm,
And my mom's name, and she had an Arabic name, and she used to get teased for it when she was growing up because that's just how people were, especially back in the day.
yeah.
So she changed it when she was 18, and like her American name is Wendy, but her Arabic name was you could call her Ramze, or but it was Wadia, but the Arabic name for Rose is Wadda. So my middle name ended up being just Rose. And I always wanted to kind of incorporate it in wrestling, but then I didn't because it's just like there's so many people with then their last name, like wrestling name, as Rose, so I didn't do it. So I kind of just did Samira. So yeah, I think that's why I would do Rose for the winery, just because of that, and also thinking of rose. So I was like, all
Yeah.
right, that's kind of cool. It's basic, but it just there's meaning behind
I was drinking rosé earlier, actually. So, I think it's not too basic.
it.
Now, let's go all the way back in time. What is your earliest memory of pro wrestling?
Ooh, so my mom's brother, my uncle. So me and my brother would like come home from school. We like, because obviously we would be with my grandmother and my uncle while my parents like would work like till like they got home from work. And my uncle had an Xbox, like the OG Xbox, and
Oh
he
yeah.
had like Raw 2, and we would play that. And that like would in terms like get us into wrestling. Like I think I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I remember just like John Cena and Randy Orton feud, and I just knew immediately. I was like, okay, that one right there, the one with the tattoos is my favorite. He's such like he even though he was like a bad guy, I was like I knew he was just like super like he was great at what he does. I'm like, damn. I was like, I like him. Everybody's booing him, but I like him. He's doing a great job.
So how did that translate into you being a fan of the actual product that was on the TV? Because I've had this conversation with so many wrestlers now that they have gotten into wrestling because of the video games and not because of the product that's on TV whatsoever. So how did the
So it started
translation?
out as
Yeah.
yeah, like it started out in the video games, but then it came into like watching and trying to understand like, oh, like the good
Mm,
versus bad as a kid. And like I don't know, I just kind of like then got invested in it because obviously like it's like trying to aim towards like the kids to watch and like grow up with it.
right.
And I don't know, I kind of just got hooked and then seeing the girls on there. And even though at the time like they got short amount of time, it was still like cool to see the girls and you're just like, oh my God. And like going to the live shows and they would like come like every summer here and we would go and it was like always like the funnest thing ever like just to watch and I was just like damn this is a lot of fun and I just like kind of kept up with it through the years like I just got more and more invested like I used to have this notebook I remember in school and I used to like because at the time, like I remember the revamped ECW was
Hmm.
on too, and I would write in my notebook who was on the Raw roster, who was on the SmackDown roster, who was on the ECW,
Wow.
and I also like write who my favorites were. Like I was so excited like about it, and even though none of the girls my age like or anybody like none of the girls like liked it or anything. It was like mainly for the boys in a sense.
Hmm.
I still loved it. It was fun for me.
Do you still have those notebooks?
I don't know. I wonder if they are somewhere. I'd have to ask my mom because I know she keeps like memory box of like me and my brother's stuff growing up. So I wonder if they are anywhere. I would love to see it. I keep thinking about this. There is a photo of me at my first WWE event and I'm
Oh.
in a John Cena shirt, like he's holding up the spinning title. And I just know there's a photo somewhere and I want to find it. But I do have this old like Randy Orton shirt. It's like blue. And we kept like some of the old shirts like that. But I
Yeah.
really want to find that photo though.
Please do and send it to me so that I can put it with this podcast social media because I think that would be amazing. I think that I love hearing about people's first shows too. I'd actually thought about asking anybody about it until you had brought it up right now. And the first shows are always the best because I try to get as many of my friends in on pro wrestling as possible. Getting them to an actual live show is way better than ever trying to explain it to anybody.
Oh my God, it's just so different from,
Yeah.
like, the television, and I tell my friends that, and, my best friend, like, from, like, middle school, we've been friends, like, very close ever since, and she wants to come to one of my shows, and she's
Awesome.
never been into wrestling, she really wants to come support me, and she watches my vlogs, which I do, like, the behind the scenes stuff, I like to, like, show like that and with my friends and then some of the show and she loves them. She's like I hadn't posted in a while. I had been really busy and I finally just uploaded my March vlog of everything that I did. And but before I saw her, she texted me. She's like, "When are you gonna post the vlog? Like, I'm ready to see it." She's like, "I'm like, oh my God!" It's like, "I got this. Like, I promise I'm gonna put it up." And she really wants to come to a show, so I really got to like bring her to one of my shows so she could see me in action.
Yeah, I was working a show here in the DFW area and my friends had come out to see the live wrestling and support me, even though I was doing the same thing you were, and I was backstage doing backstage interviews. But I would still come out and kind of see how they're, feeling on the shows. And they brought their kids, and their kids loved it. And at the end of the show, I of course checked on them again, and they're like, "When can we come again?" I was like, "Well, in 6 weeks, there's going to be another show. You guys can come." And they love it. If kids love it, and then obviously the adults love it too, because if you can find something a kid can actually sit through and actually really want to go see again, you've won. So,
Yeah, it's just I tell people it is such like a different experience
uh,
being there live than watching it like on your phone or on your